Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you a layout I created using the June 1st Stuck Sketches. Here's the sketch. You can see it calls for 3 square photos. I decided to keep the square in the top left, and then I use these two also square photos, but the same size, just I offset one just as the sketch called for up to the left there. So I started off doing some mixed media. I used some shimmers and added a little bit of water and did the packaging technique. And you can see here for this top right blob that I didn't really put enough water so that it's literally a blob and not a drippy blob, to use some very technical terms there. So I added a little bit more water here, and you can see how I get more of the splatter effect of that packaging technique, which is fine. It doesn't really matter because I knew I was going to cover up most of the blob with the pictures, and so it worked out just fine for me, and I didn't need to get another piece of paper and do that. And then I just took the sprayer out of the bottle and just put a couple of drops on my paper and my mat, apparently. And then I wanted a little bit added down below because I knew that the bulk of that 2/3 was going to be covered up by the pictures. And one of the neat tricks when you use mist is if you put too much mist and it takes too long to dry, you can just pull up some of that ink with a paper towel. So I have some die cuts here that are seashells and sea stars and sand dollars and some sticky backed cork. It's thin cork, which is perfect to make some fun sea elements. So I wasn't sure which of the ones that I wanted to use from the collection that I had here, so I just ran them all through, and I can always use them again because I have lots of sea themed layouts between my Cocoa Daisy kit and this. This is actually last month's Cocoa Daisy kit that I just supplemented with a couple of other things. So I know I've got plenty of uses for the ones that I don't use. And so I just pull out, because it is cork, they don't come out as clean as paper does, so and it's sticky back cork as well, so I did have to use my tweezers and kind of clean out the innards of these. And because I pulled the backing off of that, I wanted to put this down on something and use some color behind the cork to give the sort of shaded effect of this shell, and so I just used a little bit of that coral color, pink coral color there. And so in a minute I will put that all away and choose which 3 I want to use. I want a trio of them, and just as the sketch has the 3 butterflies, I decided to use the 3 seashells instead. And I want to back the pictures, and I had this square that I had cut, and I was kind of bummed because when you see that I put the glue down for the back of that, you'll see that there's kind of a cool cartoon of 2 kids or 2 people by the ocean, and I had actually saved it to use for that back side, but it was perfect here and I didn't want to cut down another piece, so I just decided to use it. So I cut out that Yay Vacay. It was from a Oasis cut apart card, and it was actually a 4x3 card, and I just trimmed it down to 3x3 so that it fit the same size as the pictures. These pictures are of my husband 2 summers ago when we were on Fripp Island. It's one of the beachy islands in South Carolina, and we pretty much had the whole beach to ourselves, so it was fun to get this picture scrapped because I have done a mini album of this trip, but there are lots and lots and lots of pictures that are still scrap worthy. So when I saw this sketch, I pulled those out. So I really like that Yay Vacay card. It's perfect, but it needs a little bit of added oomph to it. So I back it in white as I had done with the pictures. And then I had another spare scrap from the Pink Paisley Oh My Heart collection that I liked the stripes, and it was the same darker color tone that kind of just made the palm fronds pop in the Yay Vacay against that pink there. So I just trimmed that down to size and then put a white border around it. And after I put that white border, I used some craft foam to just pop that particular element up away from the other 3. Because it's offset up to the left just a little bit, I thought by popping it and giving it that other change in dimension as well, it would really make it stand out just a tad more. Use my ATG to adhere those down. I had actually printed those two pictures separately and just adhered them together on white cardstock for the white border. So there's the craft foam that I referred to. Put some adhesive and pop that down. So now I have the basic layout and the placement of the pictures in that embellishment card, and then it's just time to decorate with the 3 clusters of embellishments. So I have a dragon horse there, that, not a dragon horse, a seahorse, I'm sorry, that I actually cut out using my silhouette. And I had tried doing some mixed media type stuff with it. My original plan had been to make that out of tissue paper, so I had backed the tissue paper on cardstock, but I couldn't get the tissue paper off without ripping it, so I actually left the tissue paper on the white cardstock, which gave the seahorse a really neat texture, and you'll see that texture much better when I do watercolor over the seahorse. And the sketch had called for a tag behind the elements up here, and I did use a tag, but I shifted it a little bit to the left, and I just really liked that green vellum from the top of that fly card there, because it's that same aqua-y green that matches the other greens that I've used throughout the collection. And the other tag that I thought that I would use from the ephemera pack, I end up tucking in the vellum bag that is on the right hand side behind the picture there. Because I know I'm going to tuck the bottom part of this, I just used my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive behind, and that just sticks in there perfectly and covers what would be a glue line. And then I play with the balance of these cork pieces here. I originally had wanted a little more change in color to them, and so I had tried using a Faber-Castell pen to just add some brown to it, and then I contemplated the idea of inking it, but ultimately I just leave it because I've got lots of mixed media and lots of fussy stuff on there already, and I got tired of fussing, and they look great just as they are. So I've decided to stick those 3 there. And now I've pulled out the watercolor, my koi watercolors, and you'll see, and it looks much better in the close-ups, but you can see the texture that the white tissue paper on the seahorse leaves, and it's a really cool look. Clean that up, and it's slightly wet. It's not too wet, but it's dry enough on the back that I could just go ahead and stick that on there. I had put that pink piece there because I had thought that maybe I would go ahead and put a little bit of extra pink on the layout in the mist droplets there, but I really like the blue because that blue at the bottom left corner it really brings out the blue in the ocean next to where it says Fripp written in the sand there, and so I just leave that there. And I just pull out a few stickers from my various ephemera collections, and I just want a little bit more pizzazz to the layout, so I pulled out date, and I'll write the date in there, and then the other one on the top right says look here. And I have some Spiegelmom Scraps sequins because all my layouts need sequins these days, and I just put those 2 trios of 3, and I like how they look like the rocks in the sand. You know, when sand is washed up by the ocean, how you get that shimmer of rocks, so it gave that fun effect against the blue watercolor. And I have some other stickers that came with my Cocoa Daisy kit, and I had played with all of these for title work and decided that those weren't going to work, but I did find a fun one of those little label "you are here" kind of circle things to stick up there, right there. And that is it for embellishments. I pull out some other stickers, thickers, to do my title, and I just decided to stick with sunshine because it was perfect across that space there. And then I'm going to journal underneath sunshine after I get the layout of it right. And I actually don't I'm not sure what I was going to say. I think I end up moving the sequence is what I do, because I want sunshine over just a little bit, so I had to move those sequence there. And then I'm going to journal. And that is it for my Stuck Sketches layout. I do trace the outside of the edge there. We would love for you to join us and play along this month. It's a really fun sketch. There are prizes to be won, so be sure to link it up on the home page. Here's some close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't subscribe, I'd love to have you subscribe. And if you have any questions, please do leave all comments in the comments section below. Thank you.